Hi everyone. This is a quick review on your master's thesis project options. I'm Dr. Adams Gortel. I'm one of 5 possible professors you could have for your master's thesis project. What we want to do is quickly just give you an overview of the options you can have and just give you some advice about coming up with a good topic. Your master's thesis project is a requirement in fulfillment of your master's degree. It usually manifests in a paper that's between 60 and 80 pages. Now, don't panic. It's doable. We help our students through it. This is why you have Research 1 and 2. What I want to do today is just quickly go over some pieces of advice. The first thing is that when you think about your topic, we want you to pick something that's interesting. Some students think, oh, I want to pick something easy, but that can very quickly become tedious and boring. How do you pick an interesting topic? Well, think back to your experience in this program. Think about the courses you've taken, texts you've read, conversations you've had in the classroom that were interesting, journal articles that you reviewed. Think about your OPE experience. Some of you are already in classrooms and teaching. What have you witnessed? What are some of the great things that have happened? What are some of the curious things? Maybe some upsetting things. Also, think back to your own experience as a student. You can go all the way back to elementary school and reflect on times then. Middle school, there's lots of fodder there, as well as high school. So we want you to really find something that's personally interesting to you. Your topic must be niche. There's been a lot of research on education, and this is important that you get something that really hasn't been done. For example, you may be interested in students with disability. Well, there have been tons of studies and lots of research on students with disabilities. So you really have to get niche. Maybe you're interested in their experiences with peers. So you look at the idea of the experience of students with disabilities on the school bus and transportation. Well, now that's something that's niche. That's something that's super interesting. So once you have your topic, then you're going to do your research. And we'll talk a lot about that. You're going to go to the library. Well, it'll all be virtual. But you'll do a lot of research and you'll get some theory and you'll be able to really then design your project. Now, our projects really have run the gamut. You can pick just about anything. And what I want to do is I want to give you a list of projects that were done in 2018. Now, these are just the titles. I'm just going to quickly take out a few. You can pause the video later and really read through the list, but just to give you an idea of what students were doing. So here's one, the first one, Disability Perspectives in STEM Fields. This student looked at, she surveyed students who actually self-identified as having some type of disability that prevented them from going into the STEM field. And it was a super interesting study, and it was really niche. Here's one on school gardens. Here's one on why do adolescents bully. Now, I said to the student she wanted to do something on bullying. I said, oh my goodness, there's been so much out there. But she was able to find college students who actually self-identified as bullies in middle school, and she surveyed those students, and it was a super interesting study. Here's one that was a curriculum project, Holocaust and Genocide Studies, and in a minute we'll talk about doing a curriculum project. This student actually devised a 2-week curriculum project to better teach the Holocaust to middle school students. In New York State, we teach it in usually 7th and 8th grade. Here's one, stress and burnout. This was an interesting one, student athlete superiority and privilege in the classroom. Think back to your own experience in high school. If you were a student athlete or if you weren't, that perception of the privilege of the student athlete, super interesting study. This student, she wanted to do a study on teachers on cell phone. I said, absolutely not. You're not doing a study on cell phones. And she said, oh, I want to look at the student's perspective when they see the teachers on the cell phone. I said, oh, that is interesting. And it was a super interesting project. So you can look at this list, pause it, I'll put the list down here, but it just gives you an idea of the breadth of ideas. You can really pick anything as long as it's education and it's niche, and you will tie it to your research. So let's go back to the types of projects you can do. So we have 3 No, 4 types of projects that you can pick. And it's easier to explain if I pick a topic. So let's say you're interested in classroom management. You've been done a few OPEs, whether they've been elementary, middle school, or high school, and you still see that there's a lot of issues with classroom management. Well, there's been a lot of research on classroom management, but you kind of read an interesting study that talked about bringing parents back, maybe in lunch duty, or bring parents back to the classroom once in a while, and that seems to have some effect on classroom management. So you're interested in doing more research on this, and this is your project. Well, that's pretty good. It's a common topic, but you really have a niche there. So you have 4 different options you could pick. Now, read this later. Just listen to me here as I explain them. The first object is, I put my hair so I'm not behind. The first topic is action research. Maybe you're really interested in finding out what's going on right now. You see the problem in the classroom, you're observing, you're maybe in your OPE. You want to get in there right now and find out. So you want to survey the teacher and ask, what do you think if parents came in? Talk to the principal, maybe interview the principal. And you really want to get in there, you want to collect data, and this is what action research is. You're going in right now, you see the problem, you come up with this idea, you collect data, you bring it all back, you really synthesize, you look at this research you've done, and there's your project. And you have some suggestions. This action research. Maybe you're really not a people person, but you like this idea of bringing the parents back into the classroom somehow. So you're going to do a curriculum project. So what you've done is you've done your research, and you're going to kind of tie it in to some, maybe a 2-week or 10-day unit on curriculum. Maybe the curriculum is global warming, and you're going to design the curriculum project and weave this idea of the parents maybe coming in and doing a discussion or leading reading circles or something, and you actually design a curriculum project that actually a teacher could say, hey, this is terrific, and teach it herself or himself. Maybe you're not interested and you don't want to do any more lesson plans. You're tired of doing activities, and one more rubric's just going to push you over the edge. And you're more interested in teacher training. Well, the third thing you could do is this professional development project. And what you're doing is you're actually going to teach the teachers through a 90-minute professional development, just like teachers are required to go and do professional development. And it's a presentation or seminar in which you teach them this idea of bringing the parents back into the classroom, still based on the research you had done. But you design it to engage them in the 90-minute presentations, and still maybe it's a PowerPoint, or you have activities and a handout, yada, yada, yada. That would be your master's project. Still, it's going to manifest in the 60 to 80-page paper. The last could be this portfolio project, and this is more reflective. So you have this idea, and you're going to really tie it into the projects, the papers you've already done in the program. And you pick some assignments, and I believe here, we can read this later, I think it's you have to pick 5 major assignments you've done. You're going to go back and revise them. You're going to synthesize them together, but you're also going to weave in this idea you've picked. Now, maybe my example of bringing parents into the middle school wouldn't work for this, but you're going to research an idea that you like that you could work into this portfolio project. The portfolio project is more designed for the reflective student. Professional development project is really designed for the teacher trainer. The curriculum project is designed for the person that loves to plan and to design activities. An action researcher is the doer, is the one that really likes to get in there and is the people person and talk and gather that data. So this is really one of the 4 ways that your master's project it'll be one of the 4 designs that you'll have to pick. So in the next few weeks, start thinking about ideas, talk to your friends, talk to your peers, talk to family and friends. When you come to class, you should have 2 or 3 ideas that maybe you're thinking about. And then maybe think about, do you want to go action research, curriculum project, professional development project, or portfolio project? All right, you can read these later on your own time. Here's some examples. You can scroll through this video. For now, that's it. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in a few weeks.